We're talking about this family breakdown we see in the West, especially in the United States since the 1960s. But what do you see as the biggest reason behind that? Because answering that question, I think, helps us know what to do today or what to focus on. I'm wondering, is it primarily a matter of secularism, or a secularism kind of downstream from some other change? Because one of the themes of your book is that the more religious, the highly observant, and it's not unique to a particular religious tradition. It tends to be the case within Christianity, whether it's Catholic or Protestant. Also happens to be the case with Mormons. I believe it's also the case with Muslims. That's certainly the case around the world, no doubt. And so there clearly is, it's kind of it's not that the entire, I mean, yes, the aggregate is going down when it comes to family breakdown and fertility rates and all that sort of stuff. But as you point out, there's all these different subcultural differentiation, and it's almost always religious.
Yep.
I'm actually not sure. Are there any examples that aren't religious?
There's nowhere you could find a significant group of people having more than 3 kids, say, who aren't regular churchgoers. I mean, you can find individuals, but I'd be surprised how many individuals you would find who, as a married couple, had more than 5 kids outside of a religious community.
Yeah, Orthodox Jews, I should mention.
Yes, well, Orthodox Jews, absolutely. And so they play a big role in family and friendly, because I used to live in a neighborhood right next to where there were 2 Orthodox synagogues, and got to know that neighborhood decently well. And they just, that talk about letting the kids run around. I mean, well, you don't even drive on Saturday. Right. And like there were people who would describe coming into their house, looking down, seeing like 6 pairs of shoes and knowing they didn't belong to any of their children. So their children were at somebody else's house and these 6 kids were at their house. And so, I mean, mathematically, you could describe almost all of the birth rate decline by saying religious people have more children and America is becoming less religious.
Right.
And the reason that I would put that at the root cause is that all the different things I point to in the book are sort of secular changes that secularism has brought on the society. So the belief that your child's achievement determines his or her value is a rejection of the idea that we're made in the image of God and that humans have infinite value. The idea that you can't that you don't have an obligation to help your children raise their kids is a rejection of the commandment to love your neighbor. The idea that we're fundamentally bad, I think, is a rejection of, again, those ideas. And in general, the hyper-individualism, the sexual revolution, a lot of these were fruits of secularism, but also community. For the, married, college-educated, upper-middle-class secular people, they're still likely to have community. I wrote about this in my previous book, Family and Friendly. Robert Putnam in Bowling Alone, Charles Murray in Coming Apart talked about this. So there is still pretty strong communities. If you go to these sort of wealthy, mostly secular, people still leave their kids still leave their bikes on the front lawn, et cetera. There's a thriving little league where, the dads are all volunteering to coach, et cetera. But for the most part, and especially for the middle class and the working class, community in America has always meant church. And so that collapse in church going has meant a collapse in community and belonging for the middle class and the working class. So when you look at low marriage rates and high divorce rates among the working class, I think you chalk that up to a de-churchifying of the working class. Not because the sermons from Pastor Brown were so convincing that you should stay together, but that the community support, the modeling of the couple that's 10 years older, the advice, the mentoring, the norms, the babysitting, the things for your kids to do, et cetera, that was so valuable, and that has been lost. So even that collapse in community support we were talking about earlier, that is downstream from the secularization, the unchurchifying of American culture.